I, 21, was raped. My girlfriend, 22 of 3 years, accused me of cheating when I told her. Don't know where to go from here. I was drugged and raped by a female friend of my girlfriend at a party last month. I didn't tell anyone afterwards because I hated myself too much for allowing it to happen. I told my girlfriend this morning. To summarize her reaction, she told me that men can't be raped, that I must have wanted it, and that she couldn't believe I had cheated on her, especially not with her friend. She kicked me out of her apartment and told me she'd talk to me when she was ready to face me. Though funnily enough, she's blowing up my phone with texts right now. I don't know what to do. I feel numb and cold. As much as I hate to admit it, I feel worthless. I tried really hard to man up and get over it after being raped, but I hate myself and still feel hurt. I feel alone, and like no one will even believe me if I say anything about it. I don't know what happened to my girlfriend. She used to be so loving and caring through all of my struggles. I can't believe that she changed so fast and in such an extreme way. For some reason, I don't want us to be over, even if I know that I should break up with her over her reaction. I just feel lost right now. I guess I just wanted to rant to someone about what was going on, because I know none of my friends will listen or understand. If anyone has any guidance for me, I'd love to know. Thanks. Update. First, I want to thank everyone who commented. I honestly never expected such an outpouring of support, and after what happened with my girlfriend's meeting 2 nights ago, reading over what everyone had to say made things a little bit better. Long story short, I broke up with her. We met up at our apartment, and she asked me to explain what had happened that day. After I did so, she told me that after I left the house, she'd gone to her friend's house, the one who had raped me, and asked her to explain what happened. Unsurprisingly, her friend denied it. The story her friend told was that I had gotten drunk and forced myself on her. Her friend said that she'd tried to stop me, but I overpowered her and took advantage of her. My girlfriend told me that she didn't know who to trust. While we've been together for 3 years, she's been friends with her for over 10 years. She said that it was much more believable that I had raped her friend than her friend had raped me. The conversation went back and forth, but ultimately ended with her saying that, even if I hadn't had sex willingly, she couldn't look at me the same way because I had slept with another woman and cheated on her. She told me that I'd need to work really hard to regain her trust. When I asked her that if she was raped, if she would expect me to tell her that she'd need to work hard to regain my trust, she said no, because you shouldn't punish a woman for being raped. I asked her why it was okay for her to do that same thing to me, and she said it was because men can't be raped, so it doesn't apply. I tried to change her view, but there was no point in it. I broke up with her then and left the apartment. That night and the next day were tough, but I'm feeling better as time goes on. I've made an appointment with a therapist. I've told a couple of my friends, and they've all been very supportive. A friend of mine has offered to let me stay in his place for a little while, until I get my life back together and figure things out, so I don't have to worry about finding a place to stay. I've gone to the police and told them about what happened, but have ultimately decided not to press charges. I'd have no chance of success. I'm still not sure what I'm going to do going forward. Outside of the therapy appointment, I haven't really made any plans. I think I just need to take things slow for now. I also need to make sure I don't give in to temptation and unblock her, which will probably be the hardest challenge out of all of this. My friend will be driving me over to move my stuff out of the apartment while my girlfriend is at work today. I don't think she would be the type to have smashed or sold everything, but I'm expecting the worst. Edit. I posted this in a comment, but I'll post it here in case it gets buried. To update everyone on what's gone on since yesterday, I moved out all my stuff from the apartment while she was at work. I'm pretty sure that's one of the hardest things I've ever done. It made everything a lot more real to me, in a sense. Since then, I've randomly had moments where I get really angry, or moments when I get really depressed, but I'm staying as strong as I can. I'm going to take a break from the internet for a few days, as when I'm online I get too tempted to check her Facebook or her Twitter or her Instagram to see how she's doing, or if she's been affected at all. I still haven't texted or called her at all since then, and she still remains blocked on my phone, which I'm proud of myself for. Again, I want to thank everyone for being so supportive. I never expected it. I'll update in a couple of days once I've had some time to myself. Update 2. It's been a little over a week since I broke up with my girlfriend, and I'm happy to say that things have gotten a little better, especially since I saw my therapist earlier this week. I moved all my stuff out of the apartment last week, and that was hard. I'm a little stuck on what I'm going to do from here apartment-wise, because I make the most money out of the both of us, and thus pay the majority of the rent. She was mostly responsible for the utilities, and about a quarter of the rent. I know if I break the lease and stop paying the rent that she would not be able to pay the rent easily, and I don't want to put her through that. At the same time, I'm pretty sure I know what I need to do, but that doesn't make it any easier. Even if I'm not with her anymore doesn't mean that I don't care about her and don't want her to have a place to stay. Any advice on what to do here? In the meantime, The friend that I'm living with has been better to me than he should be. He's been keeping watch for me to make sure she doesn't try to show up at his house to talk to me. As of yet, she hasn't, but I'm pretty sure that's just because she doesn't know where I'm staying at the moment. I'm pretty much navigating on autopilot right now. I'm trying to keep my thoughts towards my ex as businesslike as possible. For the most part, I've gone completely no contact with her. I'm pretty sure I'll have to see her soon to talk about the apartment, but other than that, I haven't spoken with her. I slipped and checked her Facebook the other day. It was filled with messages about how I cheated on her and am a horrible person for not only cheating on her, but also for leaving without a trace and running away. Seeing that made staying away from her even easier, though it still hurt pretty bad. I wasn't honestly that surprised that she'd been posting things like that. I've gotten a lot of questions from my friends since last week, and I've now shared what has happened with most of them. I feel incredibly lucky, as the vast majority of them have supported me. Many people were worried about her friend making a false rape accusation against me, seeing as she'd told my girlfriend that I'd raped her instead. I know that if she makes a rape allegation against me, in my state I'd be more or less completely screwed. I'm just hoping that she won't do so, and that my police report will be enough to keep her away. If anyone has any advice on what to do about this, then I would love to hear it. I'm wondering if I should contact a lawyer just in case. Each day is a little different. Some days, like today, it was hard even getting out of bed because I didn't want to have to face the world. But then I pick myself up and tell myself that this is all temporary. It will hurt, but it won't hurt forever. At the urging of several Redditors, my therapist and my friends, I've started doing things to keep my mind off of what has been going on. I've been going to the gym daily. I've gone out and purchased some video games that I had wanted to buy, but my ex had prevented me from buying due to thinking that they were a waste of money. In the next few months, I'm going to start looking for a job out of state. I have always wanted to move out of my home state and take a job somewhere else, but she was very opposed to it. I figure now that I have nothing tying me down, I may as well pursue what I've wanted to do. Never mind the fact that she showed up at my work twice now, so I think getting as far away from her as possible would be a good thing. When it comes to dating, I think I'm going to stay single for a while. I'm pretty sure I've got some serious trust and commitment issues now, so I want to work through those with a therapist before it starts affecting another relationship. Overall, I'm getting better. I know this is going to hurt for a long time, but I'm accepting it. I'm going to be seeing the therapist once a week, and I'm going to keep doing activities that keep my mind off of it. I'm certain that I'll make it out okay, but it will take a long time. I still frequently get depressed or angry at the smallest things, but I think that will improve with time. Update 3. It's been about a month since I broke up with my ex, and I'm doing better than ever now. I've seen my ex once since the last time I updated. Last week, she showed up outside my friend's house and begged to talk to me. I guess I finally felt ready to face her, so I agreed to speak to her. She told me that she'd made a huge mistake, that she needed me in her life, and she was extremely sorry for not being there for me, etc., etc. I let her talk and cry and beg, and when she was done, I told her that if she wanted me to stay, she shouldn't have told me these things after she already accused me of cheating, slandered me on Facebook, and supported a rapist over me. I told her that I knew she'd find someone that loved her and that she loved, but I couldn't be that person for her anymore. She got bitchy and told me that I couldn't just leave her like that. I couldn't just leave her to live on her own and become homeless, because I know she can't pay for the full rent and the bills with how much she makes. She accused me of being heartless and abandoning her. I told her that if she didn't want me to abandon her, she shouldn't have abandoned me when I needed her most. That was the last time I spoke to her, and honestly, getting that last little bit of talk with her just proved to me that I made the right decision. Thinking back on our relationship, she's always been selfish. She never really cared about how I felt, only about how she felt. In a way, this last meeting just cemented to me that I dodged a bullet. It may have taken me 3 years to dodge that bullet, but at least I learned it now instead of later. As for the woman who raped me, she'll never come to justice. I've come to terms with that. I've talked to a lawyer and gotten legal advice just in case she tries to make an accusation against me. I made a good choice by filing that police report, and while they didn't find enough evidence to press charges, I've at least left a paper trail. At this point, it's been almost a month since she told my girlfriend that I raped her, and I haven't heard anything. I don't think that at this point she'd say anything, but I'm staying cautious just in case. I'm just going to still hope that she has some human decency and doesn't try to press charges, but at least I know what to do if that happens. So now that everything has settled down, I'm ready to start a new life somewhere else. I think after 3 years of being with the same person, that I could use an adventure. I've gotten a job opportunity out of state, and I'm going to go for it. It's in a huge city states away, but I'm going to move and start completely new out there. This weekend I'm flying out there to look at some apartments and get to know the city a little better. I'll miss my friends, but I can always come visit them. These last few weeks I've been pretty happy. I feel like a great weight has been lifted off my shoulders. My therapist has helped a lot in helping me to heal from what happened and move on and learn to trust again. I see him once a week and will continue seeing him up until the point that I move. After that, I'll find a new therapist in my new city. All my friends, especially the friend I'm living with, have been awesome and incredibly supportive. I've been going to the gym 5 days a week, putting way too many hours into Skyrim, going out with my friends, meeting new people, etc., etc. I've basically been keeping myself busy. There are still some days that I feel depressed or sad or incredibly angry, but they're getting less and less frequent. At least I don't feel that way the majority of days anymore. I know it'll probably randomly come up in my head every once in a while, but I think I'll be able to work past it. Overall, things have been going well. I've had a lot of positive pieces fall into place, and I'm ready to put this whole thing behind me and move forward. Strangely enough, this whole ordeal may be exactly what I needed to move my life in the direction that it needed to go. This will likely be my last update. Thank you, Reddit, for helping me out throughout this process. Seriously, I appreciate all the advice I got. I don't think I would have made it through that as well as I did if it wasn't for you guys. Story 2. New update. My brother-in-law is the reason why my husband left me. I don't know what to do now. I F38 met my brother-in-law M38 at uni. He asked me out in our first year, and I refused. He called me the C word, and that I am shallow. My best friend told me that it was harmless comments from a drunken guy who got rejected. I never thought myself shallow. It was his demeanor and awkwardness that was off, putting to me. Anyway, he proved my friend right. And other than these comments, I have never felt uncomfortable during my uni years because he never bothered me again. Not even looked my way. Next time I met him was when my baby sister F28 introduced him as her BF. I didn't even recognize him at first because it was like 9-10 years since that day he talked to me. He was visibly annoyed that I didn't recognize him and called me a liar. The family was skeptical at first about him, but he seemed to treat my sister right, and she seemed happy. He is very rich, taking her all over the world, and he seemed kind with his too. They got married after a year of dating. They have 3 children. I met my now ex M40 5 years ago, and the only odd comment from my brother-in-law was that I was still as shallow and superficial as I was in uni. At the time, I took it as a joke, but in hindsight, when I found out the truth and started thinking back looking for red flags, this was probably a big one. He never showed any signs that he disliked my husband, and he was always decent enough, and his indifference to have a close friendship with my husband, and I didn't seem odd because he was always a recluse. A year ago, my husband came home and accused me of cheating, and he had evidence. The guy contacted him and he had nudes, etc. of me on his phone. The guy told my husband that he didn't know at first that I was married, but as soon as he found out, he contacted my now ex. He even apologized to my husband. I have never met this guy in my life. Nothing I said or did made my husband believe me. He left me and our divorce is pending. Then yesterday that guy contacted me. He apologized for what he did and told me that he is friends with my brother-in-law. He sent me conversations, endless conversations my brother-in-law had about me for years. He has never forgotten that I, in his words, didn't even give him a chance and only judged him by his looks. He called me C in that chat. Both groups chats with his friends, but mostly with this guy. They planned this attack and my brother-in-law somehow got access to my photos. The reason this guy contacted me now is that he felt guilty because even when my marriage is over, my brother-in-law still was angry and hateful, especially when he heard that I was on a date last weekend. So the friend felt that he didn't help his friend, but ruined innocent people's lives. Not sure what to do. My brother-in-law has actually been happier and more sociable than usual since my divorce, and now I know why. Although first I thought he felt sorry and wanted to support me. His jokes about me ending up an old maid with cats as companions don't sound like jokes anymore. He meant them. I don't want to ruin my sister's life. She's very happy with her husband. I'm not sure either if I can with her husband. I'm not sure if I should tell my ex or not. I am very heartbroken that he didn't believe me. Love him very much. He is the love of my life, but I'm not sure if I can forgive him for not believing me. But he is a victim in this too, so maybe he needs to know for closure. I am so terribly sad and hurt. I'm sorry this post got very long. Update for 1, January 30th, 2024. My soon-to-be ex-husband knows everything now. Apparently the guy who contacted me contacted my husband at the same time and confessed to him. My soon-to-be ex is coming to town this weekend and he wants to talk. Afterwards, I will probably need to look into taking legal actions if that's possible and tell my family. I think now that exposing him is the best and more safe approach should anything more serious happen. At least people would be aware of who to blame. I want to at least make sure that my sister and her children are in safety before I tell them everything, like meeting them at my parents' house after I tell my parents. The picture were real and were probably stolen from my phone or my husband's, because he is the only one that I took the pictures for. I don't know if I can get any justice since the pictures were not of my face. At least I was smart enough not to have my face shown in nudes. I don't know what will happen. Relevant comments. Spooky Sam 23. So you're telling me that this guy has kept himself around you for 20 years and is still hung up on you rejecting him? It sounds like he's preyed on your sister to get close to you and will keep trying to ruin your life if you let him get away with this. You need to tell your sister what he did, and the guy he used needs to tell your ex what he did. Not to stir any pots or get your ex back, but so everyone knows what a psycho this guy is. If he's still trying to get back at you, after decades of you simply rejecting him, he's never going to stop, and he's never going to let you be happy. Ope. Yes, he's been following me throughout my uni years and even afterwards. He found my sister and managed to charm her. When they got married, I was single, and apparently he was telling his friends how he was glad I was old and single and miserable, not my experience of my single life. Then when I met my husband, he was angry because he didn't think I would find someone at my age, 33. Now when we are getting a divorce, he was very pleased again, saying I would definitely never find someone at 38, that I would regret turning him down. But I was on a date last weekend, so he spiraled down again and was angry and wrote horrible things about me. So his friend chose to come forward because he thought that my divorce wasn't enough for this guy. His words. Mini update, February 6, 2024. Trigger warning. Anam or self-harm. I really don't have much to add. My sister is very angry. She said that I have ruined her husband's reputation because my ex has blasted him and his friend everywhere. Now he is talking about wanting to end his life because I ruined it, because of a joke he played. My parents have told her everything the day everything was exposed, and apparently she believed them, me, at first. But now she is turned on me, so she is refusing to listen. I wish I could have a moment with her first before hell broke. On the husband. Comment 1. February 7, 2024. He is looking for jobs here because he wants to move back. I got very anxious and asked if he is doing this because of me, because we are not together, and this wasn't the right time to pressure me. But he said he was doing it for himself, and that he doesn't want anything from me, but that and he doesn't want to leave town for brother-in-law to think he has easy prey to harm. I didn't ask about the one he is seeing. It felt it would disrespectful to interrogate him since I have no right to do that. Maybe it is not serious, or maybe she is willing to move here. I don't know. I have spoken to lawyers, they don't seem to think this could lead to anything. Comment 2, February 7, 2024. Yes, and he said that he couldn't just wait and let brother-in-law believe that I was alone and an easy prey. He said that police wouldn't do anything. He was right about that. And people like brother-in-law are better exposed to everyone because they value their image. He doesn't seem to be understanding of my sister, however, and the way she was put in the middle. He did apologize a lot, but probably only because I was distraught and upset about what he did. I don't think he regrets anything. He is very sad himself, and he's been apologizing all the time about everything, including not believing me or trusting his gut that believed me. My brother-in-law hasn't bothered me again since he tried to call me to threaten me after everything blew up, because my ex went to his place again and threatened beating him up again. Now my sister is even angrier. Husband's relationship. Comment 1, February 12th, 2024. Yeah, it is over. I don't think it was a serious relationship. I just heard rumors that he had a GF but didn't know the details. So maybe I thought it was more serious than it was. Now he is moving back and I haven't heard that someone is moving with him. So I don't know. We talk on the phone every day, but I don't want to pry. So far on any news on the BIL, he has filed no contact orders against my ex-husband and me. New update. Update, April 14th, 2024. I am sorry that I have been gone for too long, and I am overwhelmed by the support that you have given me here. Some of you still asking about me. I don't know where to start. I have been in constant pain and stress about everything that happened, but my brother-in-law is now exposed to everyone about what he did to me. For those of you who think he is in love with me, he isn't. He very much hates my guts, and has done since the day I rejected him. Hate is also a driving force, and not only love. So for the stupid users, that I would like to call losers, who made fun of me, about me, bragging, about a man not being over me in 20 years, that is not it. If this is bragging, then you're actually very sick in the head. Unfortunately, I was sent these comments from a different sub about updates. What a bunch of losers. I was in constant fear that my brother-in-law will be hurting my sister because of me, and I am not certain if he will, but that was the only reason I have been apathetic. I wasn't sure what the right step was with people like him. He has hidden his hatred so well for so long, so what more is he capable of? I didn't want my sister and her children to be the collateral damage. That's why I have been careful. I am sorry to disappoint you by not being the strong, bad bitch. I have other priorities. My sister and I finally talked. I love her and her children very much. She seemed just very hurt and questioning her entire marriage. and who can blame her? I tried the baby steps approach. I wanted her to know I was there for her, and I was honest with her about my worries about her and her children with a man like him. It worked for a while, and I was being hopeful, but something changed, and it probably had to do with her husband giving her an ultimatum. Divorce or cut your family off. She chose her marriage. It broke my parents and me, but I don't think we can do anything about it. It is her own choice, even if we believe it is coerced. But maybe there's this little chance that she knows him better than we do. There's the little hope that he is a better person towards his family. I am clinging on to that hope. She wrote us telling us to forget she and her children existed, and that they will take legal action if we ever tried to contact them. Brother-in-law deleted all his social media accounts, and his friends apparently all want nothing to do with him. I have heard he is planning on leaving the city because everyone knows what he did now, and he is having a hard time with it. He barely leaves the house and he has been shamed, even at work. My ex-husband and I are moving on with the divorce. I don't blame him for believing the rumors, but at the same time I wish he knew me better, like I thought he did, that I would never do such a thing and cheat on him. I am so sorry that he moved back for me, and probably was hoping we could give it another chance, but I can't. He has apologized so many times and said so many times that he never truly believed the rumors, but I have started to think that our marriage wasn't strong enough to overcome a rumor. It is nobody's fault, but I thought our love was stronger than it actually was. I think we both thought that. I have started dating a new guy a few weeks before all this started. After over a year of me not even being able to leave bed, he has seen all of this unfolding and he's been very patient and supportive. I think I have a real shot at happiness now. At least he knows everything and is well prepared in case my brother-in-law isn't done with me yet. Thank you for reading all this, and thank you again for being there for me. Relevant comments. Awkward fortune cookie. I'm sorry your sister is in a tough place. I hope she comes around because he's isolating her now. My only hope now is that she knows something that we don't about him, that he is better than we think. I am so sorry too, and I have nightmares all the time since she cut us off. Rich Concentrate 200. Question. Did your sister mention if BIL admitted to everything? Does your sister truly believe you? Oop, my sister believes me. He has dropped the mask and wasn't pretending anymore. He can't contain his hate for me anymore. And he is basically still having a hard time getting over the fact that I didn't even give him a chance before saying no. How did I know he wasn't good enough for me, only judging him by his looks? My sister told me all this. Oop on if her ex-husband heard her out on what really happened and if he understood that her devices were hacked. Oop, no. He was in a state of shock, and he was inconsolable. I gave him all my devices to check and demanded to meet the guy and to confront him. But it spread around very quickly, and I guess he succumbed to the pressure. He said that he wanted to believe me, and his guts told him I was innocent. But it made it worse because then he started thinking that he wasn't thinking clearly, objectively, because he loved me. Dark deserted highway. This is so demented. Even if she wanted to work things out with him, how can she stomach that her husband is still so hung up on rejection from her sister years ago? I don't know how I would overcome such a thing. Not to mention how holding that grudge enough to actively ruin her life speaks volumes about him as a toxic, hateful, vengeful abuser. He is not healthy. Ope. This was when she agreed to separate and was contemplating leaving him. I think she talked to a lawyer even, and she changed her mind afterwards, when he basically told her she wouldn't get a dime from him. Now he knows her weakness, and he made it clear if she didn't cut all contacts, he will be the one leaving her. So she did. But for a while, there she was seriously contemplating leaving, and that's when she was honest about everything she knew. Story 3. AITAH, for refusing to go to my brother's wedding because he didn't want to invite me in the first place. So for context, I, 21F, have an older brother, 25MMR, who is getting married later this year. We used to be somewhat close when we were growing up, but drifted apart after he met his now fiancée, 24F. From the start, his GF and I didn't really get along, but have always kept it civil for the sake of him and my family. So there are no bad feelings between us, or so I thought. My grandmother called me up about 4 weeks ago to ask if I wanted to go dress shopping with her for the wedding, and I was so confused because I didn't even know my brother was engaged. I thought nothing of it, and assumed they didn't mention it, because I don't live with my parents anymore, but did find it somewhat strange that no one posted anything about the proposal until I found his Geefy's private Instagram account on my beef's phone because she blocked me. About a week ago, my mom called me and told me that the invitations were sent out that day and asked if I got mine, because my brother's GF was supposed to give them to my BF since they work at the same company. I said no, and she was very irritated. She called me back after talking to my brother and told me that she's inviting us to the wedding, and I don't need an invitation, so I said that I am not going to the wedding without an invite, and that if they didn't want me at the wedding, I don't want to be there. Now my family is saying I'm the for not accepting the invitation, my mother inviting me over the phone, and saying that I want to ruin her wedding day. So AITAH? There is no consensus bot on AITAH, but top comments were NTA. Update post 1, April 11th, 2024, later that day. Thank you for everyone's comments. I only posted the story today, but I already have the update because it just happened a few hours ago. My parents and my brother showed up at my house. Luckily, my BF was home too. Oh, and I'm so not going to the wedding. This is what happened. My brother's fiancée does indeed not want me at the wedding. My parents and brother are trying to convince her to invite me. No thanks. Not after everything. They came to our house to tell me I should apologize to my brother's GF. I was totally fine with it. I only wanted to know what it was I was apologizing for, which is where I might be the AH. They told me that they couldn't tell me what it was, but that it happened 2 years ago, when FSIL and I used to work together at the same company. I tried to find out what it was, but they wouldn't tell me. My BF got a bit upset about everything, and told them that if they can't even tell me what I did wrong, he sees no reason for me to apologize. My brother then let us know that he doesn't care if we don't attend, but my grandparents told him, if he doesn't invite me, they're also not going, and that's the only reason they want me there. So I decided that I'm not going to the wedding. Me and my BF are going on a trip for the weekend. Not to be petty or anything, we're just going to enjoy ourselves. I really appreciate everyone's positive comments. Relevant comments. Commenter. Maybe your parents will tell them what this horrible crime is you are allegedly guilty of committing. Personally, my curiosity would be having me plotting to find out what on earth it could be. It's likely absolutely nothing and completely stupid, but I would want to know. Did you happen to get promoted or get a position that she felt she deserved? Oop, not at all. But I am absolutely figuring out what it is just for my own peace of mind. But I am not going to do anything further apart from telling my grandparents what happened, I think. Oh, to a second comment. I honestly don't. We worked together for maybe 8 months before I got an internship at another company which was more in the field I'm going for. OOP. When asked, was it an internship she wanted? Not at all. I'm in graphic design now and she's an accountant assistant or something like that. Commenter. When did you start dating your BF? Could she be mad you got together with him? Since you mentioned having been a co-worker with her and he is currently, it makes me wonder if she had a crush on him or feels like you stole her friend or something. Ope. I don't know, but it would be a little weird if that's the case, because she started dating my brother 5 years before she met my BF. Commenter. If you first started dating your BF around 2 years ago, I'd be almost certain it has something related to him that she is mad about. It would be more likely, in my opinion, if she had met your BF after she started dating your brother. She may have had a crush, but loves your brother so never acted on it. She may have also not wanted to break up with your brother, unless she was certain she could get with your BF. It could also be more innocuous, and she was just friends with him, and feel like he stopped being close to her because of you, so is mad at you. It would make sense if everyone couldn't tell you what you did wrong, because she wouldn't tell them she had a crush, or that they wouldn't tell you that she was mad you stole her friend from her, because they think it would lead to more drama. OP. That actually makes so much sense. I didn't really think about it, but me and my BF started dating about 2 years ago. Update post 2, April 14th, 2024, 3 days later. So my grandparents actually called me the following morning asking if I got invited to the wedding. I said no, and they were so mad. Turns out my grandparents were paying for the wedding. My brother told everyone he was paying for everything himself, but nope, my grandparents are now not paying for the wedding, after FSIL also refused to tell them what she is upset about. My parents have stepped up to cover the rest of the wedding expenses, and my grandparents, my BF and I will be enjoying a great weekend. Thank you to everyone's comments and advice, I really appreciate it. That's all the updates I have, but I will keep you posted.